school class of 1991.
Almighty Father, we ask you for your blessing on our graduating class of 1991 as we now find ourselves on the threshold of a new beginning. Guide us to understand the power of kindness, the virtue of patience, the worth of character, and the success of perseverance. Give us the strength to encounter that which is to come. Grant us the courage of our convictions, and let every obstacle be an incentive to greater effort. As we move forward into tomorrow, help us to find inner peace through the warm memories of our families, friends, classmates, and teachers of yesterday. We ask you, Father, to be with us this graduation day as we enter the future with a vision of hope. Amen.
As graduation grew closer, my parents began telling me it was time to move out, be independent, and leave my childhood days behind. I'm sure each of you have had the same conversation with your parents. But my mother had her own way of telling me it was time to move on. She sold my bed. She actually had a garage sale and sold my bed. For as long as I can remember, I have been sleeping in that bed, and now it is gone. I guess it is true. It is time for me to make decisions that will be important to my future. It is time for me to consider what my future may have in store for me. I've said goodbye to my old bed, like I must say goodbye to my childhood years and begin a new stage of my life. Here we are, the graduating class of 1991. It is a time of celebration and praise. We have all come a long way. We should be proud of ourselves and of each other. We have a lot to be grateful for. We should be grateful to our parents who have been there to lend a helping hand when we needed it. They were there to give us advice when there was no one else to turn to. We should also be grateful to our teachers who have educated us and who have been there when we needed them. Most of all, we should be grateful to our friends who believed in us when we did not believe in ourselves. Look at the friends sitting next to you. As you look at them, don't think of graduation as the end to your friendship, but realize it is the beginning of the many chapters of the book of life that, of course, will have many to follow. It is true that some of us will lose contact with some of our friends, but we will always have our memories of Fairmont High School. We remember the good and the bad times we've had, remember the love and the hate relationships, and we will also remember the laughter and the tears. All of these experiences have happened for a reason. We remember the advice to and from our friends that has changed our outlook on life and the outlook on the future. All of these experiences have helped us grow, mature, and be prepared for our future. My old bed is gone, like my childhood is gone, but I now have a new bed. My mom did buy me a new bed. To me, my new bed symbolizes my adult years that now lie ahead of me. I am ready for the future.
Why did the chicken cross the road? We all know the answer to that, to get to the other side. But did you think that he didn't want to cross it? That maybe, just maybe, he was pushed? Imagine for a moment that we are all chickens standing on the shoulder of the famed road of life. Some of us know that we want to further our educations, so we cross the road to get to the Poultry University. There, we will study to be doctors, lawyers, and maybe even meat inspectors. Still others of us are burned out after 13 long years of school, and we're ready to start out in that world and start our careers. We too cross the road to get to the foul office, where we'll spend hours packing at typewriters, or maybe ruling the roost as the boss. Then there are others of us who don't really know what we want to do with the rest of our lives, but we know we don't want to stay on this side of the road. We race towards the other side, but in our haste, don't realize that we've just run into the path of a Kentucky Fried Chicken truck. There's one more group of us left on the side, the ones who are, well, just plain chicken. These chicken littles are terrified of what's on the other side and frightened that the world might fall down on their heads. Having to move out, pay bills, be independent, and not knowing what's on the other side keeps them on the shoulder, unable to cross. That's the group that needs a little push onto the road. That's what this graduation is for, giving us our diplomas, which is pushing us on our own to fulfill our destinies, to motivate us to the other side where our futures lie. We can no longer stay in our safe coop of Fairmont High School. We have to go on and build our own nests. So, get your feathers ruffled. Cross that road and start what will be a new life. Become an alum at Poultry U or part of chicken management. The sky's the limit, even if chickens don't fly well. The point is, we've outgrown this side of the road, and we have to go on and let someone else experience it. So cross the road. Who knows, maybe you'll be so successful on the other side that one day you'll be driving a BMW down the road instead of scratching beside it.
Just one more day, we'll be there. Morning lights now show us the way. The moment is here today. Together we stand, divided we fall. All for one and one for all. We're family, we're one. Together we'll be the best of all worlds. Just you and me. We are the champions of the day. We are the proud. We are the best of all that's ever came before. Together we will be the brave, and we will move the world. We are invincible and strong. We are the champions of the day. We're reaching for the sky. We are the proud. We are the best. We are the few. Stand up and be counted. Believe in who you are. We are the proud. We are the brave. The brave. Together we stand. Divided we fall. All for one and one for all. We're family, we're one. Together we'll be the best of our worlds. Just you and me. Together we stand. Divided we fall. All for one and one for all. We're family, we're one. Together we'll be the best of our worlds. Together we stand.
I have discovered that with a diploma comes relief and regret. For graduating seniors like me, today is a commencement exercise. Is the time to walk proudly to the stage and receive the passport that permits me to leave the pretended world of high school academics and travel to the beginnings of my real life. But for parents like mine, today is a conclusion exercise. It is a time of bittersweet ceremonies, confirming that the job is finally and successfully finished. In their eyes, I am a novel that took more than 18 years to write, and there's a great deal of satisfaction in that, and a certain emptiness that all authors must feel when they have written the final page. There were times when my parents were sure that they would run out of energy before the novel was finished, times when they were certain the words they were using were all wrong, and times when they were nearly overwhelmed by the number of blank pages that needed to be filled. There were so many things to teach me, so much to prepare me for, and so many ways the whole novel could go wrong. When I was little, just getting from one page to the next was a triumph. Every day there seemed to be a new threat, a different worry. If I cried too much, they worried. But if I slept too quietly, they worried. They can tell you that we had a standing reservation at the doctor's office and a preferred parking spot at the children's hospital. When I was old enough to leave the house, they would worry that I would stray into the street. But when I was old enough to cross the street, they worried that I would not make it to the other side. And when making it to the other side ceased to become a concern, they worried about what was on the other side. Well, somehow they managed to answer all those difficult questions without ruining our lives too much. And hey, we turned out to be a pretty decent bunch of people. And for that reason, I would like to dedicate this poem I wrote to my parents, as well to all the parents and relatives of the graduates here today. As you know, I've been going through some pretty difficult times lately, but I'm finally beginning to see the light at the end of the tunnel. And I want you to know, I owe you a debt of gratitude for sticking by me at times when I know I wasn't the best of company. I needed someone to see me through, and you were there. I know I must have tried your patience countless times, and yet
You never gave up on me. There are no words strong enough to express the gratitude I feel. And I want you to know I'll never forget what you've done for me. And because of that, you'll always be the two most special people in my life. I love you both very much, and I thank you.
follow that. Members of the class of 1991, parents, relatives, friends, and members of the Board of Education, it is an honor to stand before you this evening to highlight the accomplishments of this class. But before I do this, I feel it is appropriate to consider some of the obstacles these graduates have overcome during their elementary and secondary years. Their resiliency has been evident year after year, and they have proven their ability to bounce back. Consider these facts. In 1983, the Kettering Moraine School District experienced a major reorganization. That year, most of these graduates were 10-year-old fifth graders. Many of them faced attending a new school just as they were really becoming familiar with their old school. They bounced back. In 1988, they made the move to the high school as wide-eyed yet intimidated sophomores. As a class, they were not brash and boisterous, but more subdued and quiet. The seniors at that time gave constant reminders to this class that their station in life was just below the phyla Annelida, a subject they covered thoroughly in their sophomore biology classes. However, they bounced back. This year as seniors, they have encountered several unique experiences that could have significantly discouraged their ambitions and goals. They have bounced back, and through their leadership, Fairmont and the surrounding community is a better place. This year, the class of 1991 has led the student body to several major accomplishments in the Student Activities Program. The donation of 187 units in the annual blood drive has once again covered the blood assurance program for the Kettering and Suburban Senior Citizen Center. Like most of you in the audience, these students also are faced with solicitation of funds to help area programs. The class of 1991 provided the momentum and leadership that raised over $6,000, which was donated to multiple sclerosis, United Cerebral Palsy, and the American Cancer Society. The annual Thanksgiving drive also netted $3,500, and more than 4,500 food items were distributed to 55 needy families in the Kettering Moraine community. These and many other projects were promoted under the admirable and capable leadership of the United Student Body, officers, and the Senior Class Council. Would these students please stand as I call your names? United Student Body President, Greg Lehman. Vice President, J.C. Putoff. Secretary, please remain standing. Secretary, Brian Van Jura. Treasurer, Michelle Soptaline. Commissioners, Julie Roberts, Jason Williams, Jason Schultz, Molly Salyers, Joanna Hodgkinson, Carolyn Ray. The Senior Class Council officers and members are President Molly Rasky, who also chaired the float committee and captured the grand award in the Holiday at Home parade, Vice President Suzanne Stafford, Secretary Kelly Young, Treasurer Jody Foster, and council members Kevin Chong, Dawn Hilliard, Leslie Kearns, Kelly Sears, and Corey Stankina. And the senior senators are Jennifer Bieber, Inga Colberg, Emily Flom, Rick Gladden, Pat James, Eric Klipfer, Kim Martin, Amy Schwartz, and Anjanette Steele. Please acknowledge this group's excellent leadership. Thank you. This year, the senior class is donating over $2,000 to underwrite the cost of new landscaping for the band room entrance to the main building at the high school. This project will greatly enhance the appearance of the entrance used by most visitors to the school. Athletics is an important part of the student activity program at Kettering Fairmont. In athletics, these seniors have led the Firebirds to third place in the WL All Sports standings, and the powerful Firebird field hockey team captured their 4th state championship with a strong senior leadership. Would the following field hockey players please stand and remain standing as I call your names? Jennifer Bieber, Jackie Gilambardo, Heidi Latchko, Beth Lawrence, April Laycox, Sandy Pursley, Melanie Rowland, Tanya Sadler, Lisa Somm, and Jennifer Schreiber. Also, please remain standing. Also, Joanne Reese is representing Fairmont at the state track meet this coming weekend in Columbus. Would Joanne please stand? Joanne, a 400-meter runner, has established a school record and will be accompanied in the state meet by 2 underclassmen as well. At this time, I would also like for all students that have been involved in athletics as managers, trainers, statisticians, bookkeepers, and athletes. Please stand at this time and show the number of students we've had involved in that program. Thank you. In state competition in music, the full orchestra received a 2nd consecutive #1 superior rating. The mixed chorus received a #1 superior rating, and the silver concert band earned their 8th straight #1 superior rating. Would all members of the chorus, orchestra, band, and the music program please stand and be recognized? Also this summer, J.C. Putoff is a national qualifier in speech and will be competing in Chicago this summer. Many of these 1991 graduates have also excelled in the classroom, as evidenced by the number of scholarships that have been awarded this year. Would these graduates stand as I call your names and list your academic accomplishments? Aaron Perry, National Merit Finalist and Salutatorian. Derek Marcy, National Merit Commendation and 4.0 GPA. Barb Ungerite, National Merit Commendation. Matt Wendland, National Merit Commendation. Julia Becker, 4.0 GPA. Jennifer Harding, 4.0 GPA. Joy McMeekin, 4.0 GPA. Joanne Reese, 4.0 GPA. And Alan Seifert, 4.0 GPA. Would the following graduates please stand? Heidi Sakai, Can Trong, Christine Torres, Bobby Hornbuckle, Derek Marcy, John Paul Hurt, Jeremy Atkins, Joe Poucher, and Pete Barlow. I have asked these students to stand while I read their accomplishments. They have brought considerable honor to themselves and Fairmont. And the recognition is: first place, Regional Science Olympiad. First place, State Science Olympiad. Fourth place, National Science Olympiad, the highest placing ever of an Ohio high school and the highest placing public school in the national competition. These students have received tremendous support from various faculty members, but most of all, from their advisors, Mr. Dean Deerhake and Mrs. Maggie Martin. Please give them a hand also. And this year, one of our graduates has completed 3 years of perfect attendance. Would Jason Crabtree, known as Boogeyman on WKET, please stand? And finally, at the recently held awards programs, these students were honored for their accomplishments. Would they please stand and remain standing as I call their names and indicate their awards? Mark Mitchell, Firebird Service Award. Jackie G. Lombardo, Marilyn Gates Memorial Award. Lorena Herlihy, the Nancy Benedum Spirit Award. Matt Franklin, the Finley Pugh Memorial Award. Kara Beers, the Joanne Ray Memorial Award. Kim Martin, the National Choral Directors Award. Julie Becker, the Gary Mulkey Choral Award, and Russ Breimeyer, the Aryan Choral Award. Beth Bickert, the John Philip Sousa Band Award. Lorena Herlihy, who I've already mentioned, also received the School Leadership Award. Jason Schultz, the Leadership Award. Derek Marcy, the David Rayburn Citizenship Award. Aaron Perry, Firebird of the Year, and Greg Lehman, Firebird of the Year. There have been numerous other accomplishments by individuals and groups. Time does not permit me to identify these students, but their efforts are no less important. To the graduates, I leave the following message written by Dr. Theodore S. Geisel. Many of you may remember this from a few years ago, but it is very appropriate today. Oh, the places you'll go. Congratulations, today is your day. You're off to great places. You're off and away. You have brains in your head, you have feet in your shoes, you can steer yourself in any direction you choose. Oh, the places you'll go. There is fun to be done, there are points to be scored, there are games to be won. You'll get mixed up, of course, as you already know. You'll get mixed up with many strange birds as you go. So be sure when you step with great care and great tact, and remember life's a great balancing act. Just never forget to be dexterous and deft, and never mix up your right foot with your left. And you will succeed, yes you will indeed, 98.75% guaranteed. Kid, you'll move mountains, so you're off to great places. Today is your day, your mountain is waiting, so get on your way. Dr. Seuss. Before I present the class to Mrs. Feller, I ask members of the audience to provide the graduates with the honor and respect they deserve. They have throughout the year exhibited maturity and respect for each other. Please allow this to continue by refraining from yelling and demonstrating when names are read. In closing, I sincerely thank the teaching staff for their commitment to education and their daily efforts to help these students. Also to Mr. Drayton and Mr. Basil and Mr. Kilmer and Mr. Klein, I thank you for your allegiance and support. Your dedication and professionalism helps each of us keep our goal in focus. Also, a sincere thanks to Mrs. Brooks, my secretary, and all of the support staff at Kettering Fairmont High School. And now, Mrs. Feller, it is with great pleasure and pride that I present to the Board of Education for the awarding of diplomas, the class of 1991, having fulfilled all requirements for graduation in a fully accredited school in the state of Ohio. Thank you.
I can state that we also, as the Board of Education, are proud and very pleased as well. You have offered yourselves and given much to your school, and we are grateful and we thank you for your generous spirit. We sincerely hope that you have received an education that will prepare you for living through your college days, living through your new job, living through beginning your family, or living any new experiences as you travel through life. It is important that this education for living has been gained at its fullest, and only you, as an individual student, can answer that here for you tonight. The real and reassuring answer will come to you when you see how well you are able to build upon your high school education as you accept your work, your first employment position, and succeeding ones, as you begin and continue your college education, as you start and develop your family, and as you face the challenges and opportunities that avail themselves to you. We feel we have offered you one of the best educational programs in Ohio and the nation, as national associations have claimed Kettering to be. And how about that Science Olympiad? Along with your active participation in co-curricular activities, you're not only academically prepared, but you're also broadened to learn to accept other kinds of responsibilities. Traditionally, Kettering graduates have done well, and we wish the same for you. The Board of Education wishes to thank the parents, the families, and the friends of our students, as well as the staff and the community, for their supportive role we all have played in the development of these graduates. We all know that it is our responsibility together to see that the educational, the social, and the family experiences are both meaningful and purposeful. Not fulfilling our commitment to these is to shortchange these young women and young men in their preparation for life. In granting you your diplomas here tonight, we are committing you to a lifetime of learning that alone can bring you success and happiness, which is our most sincere wish for you here tonight and always. Thank you.
Julia Louise Becker.
Sean Patrick Beatty.
Beth Ann Bickert.
Carmen Marie Berardi.
Joanna Lynn Carter.
Russell Scott Breimeyer.
Matthew Lawrence DePore.
Jonathan Adam Curran.
Jeanette Eileen Groves.
Michelle Elizabeth Dixon.
Jason Andrew Hillen.
Amy Michelle Hammer.
Nicholas Allen Hosford.
Joel Albert Holbrook.
John Paul Christopher Hurt.
Jeffrey Blake Hunter.
Eric Kian Klipfer.
Stacy Marie Jarrett.
Kimberly Ann Martin.
Marcia Dawn Lunicky.
Rebecca Christine Miller.
Edward Allen Miller.
Shannon Robin Pedersen.
Allison K. Moats.
Jocelyn Dawn Putoff.
Rebecca Lee Perkins.
Patrick David Survey.
John Christopher Shearbaum.
Barbara Elizabeth Ungerwright.
Rachel Lynn Staniford.
Todd Michael Wiener.
Brian Lewis Ventura.
Christopher David Adams.
Charles M. Wyrock.
David Ray Adams.
Christopher Sean Adams.
Heather Marie Agnes.
Laurice Adamy.
Stephen Ross Anthony.
Jeremy Heath Michael Adkins.
Ayana Allen.
Cheryl Dawn Akins.
Christopher Andrew Barlow.
Daniel John Barber.
Suzanne Christine Allen.
Jennifer Louise Allen.
Anthony Sean Barnes.
Peter Michael Barlow.
Jennifer Rebecca Bailey.
Joel Kevin Barrett.
Matthew Joseph Bates.
Michelle Renee Bailey.
Kimberly Joe Banks.
David Brian Bay.
Matthew Christian Bayer.
Molly Elizabeth Rasky.
Heather Michelle Barnum.
Thomas John Beam.
Joshua Beeman.
Brandy Suzanne Bollier.
Shannon Gabrielle Christian Beener.
Kateri Lynn Bender.
Bradley William Beck.
Christian David Burmick.
Eva Marie Bennett.
Jennifer Ann Bieber.
Scott David Bishop.
Kendra M. Abfalter.
Kara Lynn Beers.
Melissa Ann Boyer.
Jeffrey Scott Blevins.
Jason Matthew Bamer.
Jennifer Lynn Braxma.
Melissa Margaret Brayshaw.
Eric Arthur Bostic.
Dale Edward Boyer.
Elizabeth Ann Brakey.
Susan Jennifer Brinkley.
Jason Arthur Brenner.
Shelley Ann Brown.
Angel Christy Britton.
James Eric Brown.
Derek Sean Brown.
Jacqueline Miller Bruss.
Michelle Lee Bruno.
Sean Tyler Brown.
Jeffrey Lee Brown.
Sherry Marie Busher.
Michelle Marie Bush.
Julie Rebecca Carlton.
Charles Anthony Burrows.
Emily J. Case.
Danielle Cantu.
Kevin Michael Chu.
Toby Shane Carpenter.
Inga Agnes Kohlberg.
Patricia Ann Carico.
Young I Chong.
Peter Andrew Hunt Chamberlain.
Shelley Marie Cost.
Angela Marie Channel.
Eric Kevin Clark.
Brian Thompson Child.
Nancy Jane Crawford.
Amy Marie Cole.
Jonathan Roy Clarkson.
Brett Nicholas Clark.
Tina Louise Cummings.
Heather Renee Countryman.
Kevin Ray Combs.
John Paul Clark.
Melinda Lee Damstra.
Jennifer Annette Stavertnicek.
Jason J. Crabtree.
Donald E. Klein Jr.
Anne Marie Davis.
Sarah Rogine Cunningham.
Robert Andrew Kreider.
Travis Adam Cotter.
Deborah Lynn Dieterle.
Barbara Lynn Dano.
Clint Jason Crusette.
Matthew David Crane.
Elizabeth Tatiana Eichwalder.
Tanya Michelle Davis.
Larry Robert Darner.
Raymond B. Crow.
Nicole Lee Elston.
Catherine Pauline Disney. She's going to come up.
John Everett Dimitriades.
Brian Allen Damewood.
Jeffrey Sean Dormeyer.
Jody Lynn Ellis.
Polly Ann Ferguson.
Jason Matthew Didario.
Jerry Lynn Dunlap.
Shannon Melissa Evans.
Sharon Marie Fortman.
Charles Douglas Doozer.
Eric Dwayne Eby.
Angela Marie Folletta.
Catherine Brooke Forbes.
Locke Quan Du.
Matthew John Espy.
Emily Nicole Flom.
Deidre Dawn Fullenkamp.
Michael Spence Earl.
Zachary Pete Farquhar.
Jody Lynn Foster.
Christy Marie Garvin.
Scott Douglas Eckley.
John Michael Finke.
Melissa Ann Fricky.
Tanya Marie Goss.
Julian Evert.
Todd Arthur Flanagan.
Jennifer Ann Gagliardi.
Beth Ann Gerald.
Joshua From Fensel.
Matthew Charles Franklin.
Tammy Lynn Gamble.
Jacqueline Danielle Giambardo.
Jess Philip Fisher.
Scott B. Fry.
Tina Louise Gentili.
Claire Taylor Goff.
Brandon Wayne Forrester.
Todd Gandy.
Janine Marie Geswine.
Alice Evage Gooden.
Jacob Scott Frazier.
Matthew Edward Gerstle.
Stacy Lynn Gilkison.
Ginger Lee Haynes.
Kent William Fuller.
Aaron William Gibson.
Michelle Renee Gantz.
Kimberly Dawn Hamilton.
Kevin Sean Garrity.
Richard John Gladden.
Thomai Gersos.
Jennifer Elizabeth Harting.
James Chadwick Getter.
David Charles Haley.
Jill Suzanne Hamby.
Jessica Ann Harvey.
Matthew Robert Giffen.
Eric Sean Howder.
Jennifer Marie Hart.
Glenda Lavon Hembry.
Mark Joseph Haas.
Christopher Joseph Heater.
Dawn Marie Harvey.
Charlotte Ann Hensley.
Brian Christopher Harris.
Douglas Jason Hickey.
Rebecca Lynn Hatton.
Dawn Elaine Hilliard.
Orion Justin Hayes.
David Paul Hobbs.
Carinsa Carly Henderson.
Laurina Agnes Herlihy.
Sean David Hess.
Paul Michael Homan.
Kelly Denise Hensley.
Matthew Robert Horton.
Stephen Lee Heyer.
Marie Bernadette Holtman.
Aaron Elizabeth Hershey.
Bobby Dale Hornbuckle.
Jonathan Titus Hobbs.
Melissa Laureen Hoyle.
Sarah Joanna Hodgkinson.
Eric William Hunter.
Russell J. Honius.
Marianne Bess Hunter.
Tanya Nicole Holstrom.
Gregory Scott Ivy.
Matthew Shane Hoskins.
Linda Marie Ingram.
Kimberly Michelle Howell.
Patrick Darius James.
Philip Dale Hubbs.
Jennifer Lynn Jeffrey.
Charlotte Ann Hull.
Brett James Young.
Michael Sean Hurley.
Kelly Ann Jett.
Denise Nicole Hurley.
Jason Heath Jones.
Darren Christian Jacobus.
Jennifer Lee Johnson.
Tammy K. Israel.
Douglas Eugene Kemp.
Robert Daniel J.
Melissa Diane Johnson.
Rachel Ann Jensvold.
Dudley O'Sullivan Klain.
John Robert Carter.
Dee Dee Ann Jones.
Dawn Michelle Johnson.
Brian John Kotz.
Michael Milford Jones II.
Laura Christine Cownans.
Jill Marie Johnson.
Darren Philip Lantis.
Drew Aaron Kinney.
Robin Elaine Keister.
April Lynn Jones.
Gregory Edward Lehman.
Stephen James Klein.
Christina Ann Kobalak.
Leslie Esther Jones.
Tad Edward Locke.
Robert Paul Kriegbaum.
Leslie Margaret Kearns.
Melissa Jane Canyu.
Michael Richard Maddox.
Joseph Michael Laughlin.
Tracy E. Kimball.
Kimberly Lynn Kenyon.
Christopher Michael Mahaffey.
David Wayne Lindsay.
Nicole Suzanne Lang.
Cynthia Ann Kreitzer.
Richard Blaine Markland.
Scott Anthony Luthman.
Christina Suzanne Large.
Teresa Ann Kessler.
Christopher A. Marshall.
Daniel Mitchell Madigan.
Michelle Lynn Laughlin.
Julie Marie Crusoe.
Bradley William Maddox.
Scott Patrick Mangan.
Nicole Lynn Lawrence.
Kathleen Margaret Longsongen.
Christina Marie Leach.
Derek Kevin Marcy.
Michelle Renee Leonard.
Heidi Jean Latsko.
Christopher James McMahon.
Glenn Eric Martin.
Patricia Ann Lewis.
Elizabeth Ann Lawrence.
Laura Christine Lindsay.
Brian Joseph McDermott.
Mark Stephen Mitchell.
April Lynn Laycox.
Pamela Jane Little.
Kelly Renee Lethley.
Stephen Wayne Morgan.
Mark Allen McKinney.
Joy Michelle McMeekin.
Amy Denise Lewis.
Erica Madrigal.
Christopher Scott Melville.
James Aaron Nayhouse.
Robin Marie Lincoln.
Aaron Renee Maggard.
Jason Christopher Miller.
Stephen Patrick O'Hara.
Rachel Dawn Linville.
Kristen Renee Morrow.
Christopher Michael Monturo.
Jamie Scott Osmond.
Stacy Michelle Lacera.
Angela Marie Marshall.
Rodney Paul Mortar.
Timothy Dennis Polaskis.
Vania Lynn Longman.
Jennifer Carol Mayberry.
Jeffrey Craig Morrell.
Jason Matthew Pites.
Pone Nuan Songse.
Laura Michelle McLeod.
Rebecca Louise Malco.
Jeffrey Scott Pites.
Gregory Allen Ortel.
Jennifer Michelle Menke.
Mary Jo Maslow.
Jason Lee Phillips.
John Joseph Pulcher.
Josephine Ann Messer.
Erica Kathleen Mayer.
Robert Mitchell Price.
Charles Robert Payne.
Jennifer Marie Miller.
Cindy Ann McIntosh.
Michael Christian Reichert.
Stan A. Perry.
Kimberly Lynn Moore.
Ann Elizabeth McMath.
Sean M. Rice.
Tri Min Pham.
Angela Dawn Mullins.
Leah Tanietta Mers.
Joseph John Sabadash.
Paul Matthew Pittman.
Laura Christine Merchland.
Tammy Lynn Midkiff.
Albert Lawrence Schaff.
Jason Ray Ragland.
Jennifer Dawn Nicholson.
Juan Martinez Lyons.
Melvin H. Shenefield III.
Robert Bernard Reichert.
Bethany Sue Otto.
Tina Marie Moss.
Jason Matthew Schultz.
Scott Eric Robinson.
Lisa Marie Padilla.
Nancy K. Monroe.
William Charles Slavinsky.
Haughty Sakai.
Angela Lee Patrick.
Rachel Lynn Murphy.
Kenneth Michael Smith.
Daniel Eric Schneider.
Erin Nicole Perry.
Jennifer Colleen O'Neill.
Chad Patrick Sainer.
Lori Lee Osborne.
Tracy Lynn Phibbs.
H. Allen Seifert III.
Sean Patrick Spiller.
Hope Lynn Palmer.
Elizabeth Ann Piddle.
Chad Allen Smith.
Corey Lynn Stankina.
Karen Teresa Peachy.
Karen Jean Poor.
Kyle Norman Smith.
Scott Allen Sudduth.
Amy Lynn Phelps.
Christine Haydee Torres.
Sean David Spaeth.
Andrew Thomas Schwartz.
Anita Maria Phillips.
Janelle Marie Reese.
Richard Anthony Staniford.
Yoshiro Takasi.
Melissa Ann Platt.
Michelle Reith.
Caleb Kavanaugh Stevens.
Matthew Jacob Thomas.
Sandra K. Persley.
Julie Lynette Roberts.
Stuart Patrick Sullivan.
Christopher Michael Todd.
Carolyn Truitt Ray.
Melanie Kristen Rowland.
Christopher John Sweat.
Eric Xavier Cheerhart.
Kelly Kathleen Riegelsberger.
Jenny Lynn Sage.
Craig Ryan Thiel.
Shane Allen Seiler.
Joanne Reese.
Lisa Lynn Somm.
David L. Tipton.
Jeffrey Lowell Vorp.
Tanya Marie Roller.
Jennifer Kathleen Schultz.
Con Trong Trump.
Raymond Philip Waski.
Tanya Sue Sadler.
Amy Catherine Schwartz.
Jason Ryan Van Hoos.
David Lee Weber II.
Molly Ann Salyers.
Jennifer Louise Seibert.
Paul William Vollison.
Heidi Lynn Thomason.
J. Lynn Shucklehoff.
Gina Lynn Sherrick.
Jeffrey Dale Waller.
Benjamin Lewis White.
Jennifer Sue Schreiber.
Angela Marie Shook.
Jeffrey Allen Webb.
Heath Alexander Williams.
Kelly Michelle Sears.
Christine Marie Smith.
Matthew Allen Wendell.
Michelle Marie Sopteline.
Tiffany Renee Shank.
Brian George Wilson.
Joseph Dwayne Wheeler.
Angela Marie Sparaco.
Christina Marie Shaw.
Kenneth B. Witt.
Bonnie Janine Simmons.
Carrie Adele Stembaugh.
Jason Paul Williams.
William DeAndre Wright.
Marjorie Mae Smith.
Nicole Allison Steckel.
Maria Christina Soto.
Rodney Wilson Young.
William Reginald Winters.
Denise Nicole Stringer.
Suzanne Nicole Stafford.
Dane Dietrich Zimmerman.
Jason Allen Wright.
Jane Renee Sutherland.
Amy Paulette Stauffer.
Rhonda Michelle Talby.
James Ralph Yates.
Lucila Tardivo.
Anjanette Mercedes Steele.
Marguerite Maria Tyree.
Christopher Harold Yount.
Carmen Vaughn Vendito.
Colleen Lavita Struhar.
Christine Theresa Warning.
Amy Marie Susong.
Jill Marie Watson.
Kelly Louise Sullivan.
Jennifer Marie Wilkin.
Laura Sue Taylor.
Michelle Kami Whitwer.
Lori Lynn Tunney.
Claudia Winchman.
Holly Ann Updike.
Shannon Marie Yates.
Tony Nicole Vipperman.
Megan Rebecca Denise Young.
Kimberly Lynn Warren. Carrie Elizabeth Witt. Stephanie Marie Wilkins. Jennifer Christian Wunderlich. Heather Nicole Yana. Kelly Margaret Young. Christian K. Winterstein.
Please bow your heads for the closing prayer. Our Heavenly Father, we thank you for this evening, the many opportunities you have bestowed on us. For the good and bad times are ones that we will remember and grow from as we each go on our separate ways. We also would like to thank you for our parents, teachers, and friends, for these are the people who have been with us and supported us in all of our endeavors. Be with each one of us as we go out and face the world, a world that is endless with opportunities. We ask for your blessing on this, the class of 1991. It is in your name that we pray. Amen. We ask the graduates to please remain standing for the turning of the tassels. Everybody else may be seated.
Fairmont's class of 1991, please join me in the turning of the tassels.
Thank you.